So, you're thinking about taking someone to court. That's a massive step. But just filing the case is only the beginning. The real question is, how do you actually win? Well, as it turns out, there's a surprisingly simple mantra for victory in the courtroom, and today, we're going to break it all down.
Deciding to file a court case is a huge deal. It's something you do after a lot of frustration, a lot of thought. But there's this one critical piece of the puzzle that so many people miss, and they often don't realize it until it's way too late.
And here it is, the hard truth. You can be 100% in the right, have absolute truth on your side, and you can still lose your case. How is that possible? Well, it's because the court doesn't run on your feelings. It runs on a very strict system of law and procedure. If you ignore those rules, even the most genuine case can just completely fall apart.
But hey, don't worry. There is a simple and really powerful framework to guide you. The secret to success in court boils down to just 3 P's: plead, pray, and prove. If you get these 3 things right, your chances of winning are going to skyrocket. So let's start with that first P.
All right, first up, pleading. You have to think of this as the absolute foundation of your entire case.
So what is a pleading? It's the official written document where you tell your complete side of the story. Think of it as your opening argument on paper. This is your first and, honestly, your best chance to lay out your entire case, so getting it perfect is absolutely critical.
Okay, so how do you write a great pleading? It really comes down to 4 golden rules. First, you've got to stick to what are called material facts, just the essential details, not every little thought that popped into your head. Second, and this one is huge, never hide facts. Third, presentation is absolutely key. And finally, you have to attach all your supporting documents right from the get-go.
Let's really focus on that second rule for a second. Never hide the facts. It is so tempting to kind of sweep the things that don't look good for you under the rug, but that is a fatal mistake. I promise you, the other side's lawyer will find it, and they will use it to paint you as deceptive and dishonest. Your credibility with the judge, it's going to be shattered. The real strategy is to present all the facts, but to frame them in a way that still supports your case. That's what a good lawyer does.
And this quote really speaks to that third rule about presentation. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. A pleading shouldn't be some chaotic mess of random points. It needs to have a logical flow where each paragraph builds on the last one. That's what makes a case feel compelling and, more importantly, genuine to a judge.
And that fourth rule, it's so critical. The law is very clear about this. You must submit all your supporting documents when you first file the case. Courts hate surprises. If you try to pull out a key document in the middle of a trial, the judge is going to look at you and ask why you held it back, and they might not even allow it as evidence. So you've got to put all your cards on the table from day one.
Okay, next up is the second P, pray. So after you've told your story, you have to tell the court exactly what it is you want them to do about it.
This analogy is just perfect. Think about it. A court is not going to guess what you want or grant you some remedy that you haven't specifically asked for. You have to clearly state exactly what outcome you're looking for. It's really simple. If you don't ask, you don't get.
This prayer is the final section of your pleading. It's where you list out every single thing you want the court to grant, whether that's money or canceling a contract or something else. And crucially, your request has to be legally sound and something the court actually has the power to do.
This right here is a recipe for failure, and it just shows you how vital that prayer is. You can have a perfect story, you can have all the evidence in the world, but if you forget to specifically ask for what you're entitled to, the entire case can be lost. It is the final crucial link in the chain.
So, we've told our story, and we've asked for what we want. Now for the final and maybe the most important P, prove. Because without proof, your case is just words on a page.
You really have to put yourself in the judge's shoes here. They are a neutral party. They have absolutely no reason to believe your story over the other person's story without some kind of compelling evidence. So the question is, how do you convince them?
The legal term for this is the burden of proof. And what that means is that the onus, the responsibility, is on the person who brings the case to court. It is your job to prove every single claim you've made by backing up your words with hard facts.
So what does that proof even look like? Well, it can be documentary evidence, like contracts and emails, or what's called circumstantial evidence, which points towards a certain conclusion. It can be witnesses who get up and testify about what happened, and even legal presumptions, where the law itself assumes something is true unless it's proven otherwise.
Now listen,
This is not like the movies where the lawyer dramatically finds the one key piece of evidence in the middle of the trial. All of your evidence, your documents, your witnesses, everything, it all has to be gathered and prepared before you even file the case. You have to walk into court fully armed and ready from day one.
So let's put this all together now. Plead, pray, and prove. These are the 3 pillars that you have to build your entire winning case on.
So just to recap, you plead your story, but you stick to the important facts and you hide nothing. You pray for a specific request, being crystal clear about what you want, and you prove your case by backing up every single claim with solid evidence. All 3 of these have to work together in perfect harmony.
Look, here's the bottom line. A judge doesn't have a magic wand to know who's telling the truth. They operate on 2 things and 2 things only: the law and the evidence that is presented to them. Your personal feeling that you're right is completely irrelevant if you can't follow the procedure and actually prove it.
And that leaves us with one final and really important question you need to ask yourself. Before you even step into that courtroom, look at your case through this lens. Have you properly pleaded your story, clearly prayed for what you want, and gathered all the evidence you need to prove it all? If you can answer yes to all 3, then you are truly prepared for victory.